Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up today with a creator request, which is where a smaller band gets in contact with me and asks me to check out their work. Today, we got one from the band Nadae. I'm pleased to inform you the US progressive metalcore deathcore artist Nadae has recently released a new lyric video and single, The Fighter. Having roots in both rock and jazz in the home state of Tennessee, singer-songwriter Jacob Spires, also known as Nadae, has set out to break the metal mold. Nadae's mission is to inspire the listener forward in life. The first release, Hidden Hair EP, centered on the death of Spires' grandfather, concludes with how we all ultimately need to move beyond grief. Now, the newest release, The Fighter, is centered on awakening the deep urge to mess things up and pointing that energy at overcoming obstacles. Alright, let's dive into this. We have the track The Fighter from Nadae. Let's see what they're bringing forward to the table today. We got a warning, so be sure to heed that if you must. Really nice dual guitar approach to our opening. Really interesting rhythmic phrasing here. There's a lot of that in there where we have a break on beat 4. It's an interesting theme throughout this track, is the moments between the bursts. Okay.
Share the weakness, share the weakness, share the weakness within. Let's go load the arrow, load the arrow, load the arrow, load it sword. Raise your sword to exist is to war. Share the weakness, share the weakness, share the weakness within you. Fight it every day, every way, go in the world. Fight it every day, all the way, take back your world. Fight it every day, every way, go in the world. Rise and conquer, kill your monsters. Fight it every day, every way, go in the world. Rise and conquer, kill your monsters.
Oh. I had no grasp on the fact that we were almost done there. So I want to start first on just the overall composition of this. What the guitars are doing, what the bass is doing, or what our vocals are doing. A lot of this is very staccato, quick staccato hits. Everything's very punchy. We're gonna be leaning into this, okay? I might have some puns in here. We have some very punchy, precise attacks on a lot of our notes, and that is pretty much the way the entire song operates. We don't have any suspended tones. We don't have even like strong foundational elements, chords or anything like that. It's all really sharp, short attacks on these notes. Um, Musically, our guitars, I don't really know what they're going for. It just seems to be random note choices. I don't feel a melody or a story being told by them. It's just notes that feel fine together. They exist. They don't push against the notes that come around them. There is a key that is being used, so all of the notes are working well together. They're just not designed to have an emotive element to the riffage. The drums are primarily, as far as I can hear, functional. There aren't too many moments where there's embellishing lines or really out there riffs. A lot of it is either to reinforce the rhythmic component that the guitars are doing, or you can look at that vice versa, where the guitars are reinforcing the rhythm of the drums, or they're sitting in the pocket, laying down our time signature and tempo. Bass, I couldn't hear a bass. I tried really hard. I think I heard something in the lower end. What I heard though was just doing what the guitar was doing. So I think everything in the string area are both of our guitars are um, really in sync, where our bass is doing what our guitar is doing majority of the time. And the vocals again follow in what the guitar is doing with these really sharp attacks, bump, 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 bump. Just really going for these shorter notes. The music is not, well, the notes, harmony, chord progression, these are not components that are key to this track at all. Just toss them straight out the window. We don't need to worry about them. It's a little bit mix of that metal rule of cool if this sounds nice, or I guess if it sounds cool, if it sounds metal, that's where the note choice comes from. Rhythmic choice entirely comes up to this really neat concept that I picked up on about halfway through the track. It's called The Fighter. Several of the lyrics are relating or drawing parallels between existing in life, living life, and drawing a parallel between that and fighting. Visually, we had what looked like boxing and MMA, maybe all MMA, but there is trained professional fighting going on in here. This isn't like a street fight or anything like this. Um, and what's really interesting is that being in a fight is in this setting again, not in like just a couple of people outside a bar throwing punches at each other. In this setting of professional fighting, though, there's an ebb and flow to it all. And the rhythm of the dance, so to speak, is a bit chaotic, but there is a rhythm to it, and it's a combination of spurts of action and spurts of rest. In boxing, we tend to see people hanging on to each other, kind of trying to rest each other and wear down the endurance. I'm not so as well informed about MMA, but I'm sure there are these moments where there's punches and kicks thrown, and then other moments where maybe it's a bit more of a waiting. There's also the opening position before anybody has any advantage, and they're sort of like towing each other and towing they're towing the line, like coming into range and out of range, trying to see who's going to make the first move and stuff like that. There are these moments of non-action where it's a mind game. And that's what I get out of a lot of these musical choices, especially with those pockets of silence. They are all over the place. So many components here are designed to be a flurry of notes and then a pocket of silence, and a flurry of notes and a pocket of silence. And I really feel like this is supposed to be evoking this ebb and flow of this professional combat. Um, of having these moments of intense action and moments of not necessarily reflection or non-motion, but non-action, if that makes sense. Assessing the situation. And we view these in quite a few different ways. Sometimes it is just an abrupt stop and then we get back into it. Sometimes we have the abrupt stop and it sits there for a little bit. Interestingly, I also mentioned that the ebb and flow is not uh, cyclical. It's not like you take turns. You get three punches and then we rest, and then you get three punches and then we rest. Um, and you can hear some of that in the music as well, where the phrasing is a bit more disjointed. Maybe we'll do this, quick attack followed by a beat three times, and the fourth time we'll forget about that beat of stop, that beat of rest, and we'll just run into like six or seven flurries. Um, and then other times we might have the extended rest, and it almost feels at times also that there are time signature shifts, but I think it's all phrasing. There's some really interesting phrasing ideas going on in here that feels like it's in constant flux. There is a rhythm to it all, and you can kind of feel it, but there's going to be moments when that rhythm gets um, disrupted abruptly. And this, I mean, it might just be that it was paired with the visuals. I don't know that the title itself would have had me in this mindset. Um, but certainly seeing the music video with it, immediately putting my mind into this type of the setting, the music, it perfectly pairs like that. That's immediately where my mind. Well, not immediate. I said it came up like halfway through, but that's better than me picking it up later in the analysis. It happened during the song. Um, So that's impressive. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I really enjoy that. Um, the vocals are an interesting mix. They're kind of, you guys got to let me know what type of vocal style this is. To me, I hear some of the thin nasaliness that we get out of black metal, but it's wider than I expect at the low end. It still has a bit of that higher end, higher pitched pointedness, but at the low end, it kind of flares out a little bit more so that I would associate with a growl. And it's an interesting shape, I would say, for a harsh. I have similarities that I can compare it to, but I can't say that I've heard this specific kind before. Um, Very cool. Not my cup of tea, as most harsh vocals aren't, but it's still very cool to hear it and to hear the nuance in it and the sort of the unique components to it. Um, I think that's gonna wrap that up then. I wish I had more to talk about, but I think that's it. Let me hit lyrics real quick. I think it's pretty. Oh, are there lyrics? Um, there weren't lyrics in the comments or the description. There aren't lyrics. All right, so I'm just gonna say this. I picked up a few of the lyrics because it is a lyric video. I can't go through it line by line, but of course, there's a lot of parallels made between physical fighting. Go for the spine, take the left, punch his face, that kind of stuff, and pairing it with taking advantage of your existence and actually doing what is best for you and overcoming your hurdles and utilizing language of fighting to emphasize the type of fight that you need to do to stand for what you believe in and what you need to do to exist as a person, which goes along well with the description we were given at the beginning about this track being about fighting for your right to live and utilizing that energy to overcome hurdles. So yeah, this is just a really interesting series of metaphors, parallelisms between fighting and music and fighting and existing, and kind of utilizing this one jumping off point of what if I wrote a song about MMA and utilizing it to both create a specific musical texture and to have a really nice message in there, even if it is a bit more aggressive than I would typically enjoy. I still have to appreciate the artistry behind it. And it is very, very on the nose. The chorus, I think you couldn't get any more direct about what the song is about. So yeah, actually really fantastic. Not the type of music I typically listen to, but more artsy, if I could say, than I usually hear for this style of music. So I really appreciate that. Those are my thoughts on Nadae's The Fighter. This is where y'all come in. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this one or not. Anything you'd like to add on or correct me on. If you have any differing opinions about this, let me know. In the description box, you'll find links for Nadae, any streaming platforms and social media platforms I can find for them. Actually, I don't think I have to find any. I get in contact with these guys sometimes and be like, hey, let me know all the links you want me to toss in there. So I think I already have a list of links for it. Anyways, they'll be in there if you want to find more of their music or merch or contact them, whatever you may want. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Make sure you head over to their channel, like, subscribe. They only have 53 subscribers. I'm not sure what their Spotify looks like, but their YouTube channel could definitely show some love. So, if you enjoyed it, go ahead and do that as well. All right, tomorrow we're going to have a Q&A at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have our album review at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I did not want to do those on the same day, but that's how schedules lined up, so it's going to be a busy Saturday. Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern. Again, we're going to have our stream for the patrons. If you're a patron and you want to check that out, that's the day to do it. Make sure you look for the link on Discord and Patreon. Monday, we'll be back with next week's theme. All right, until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.